Lori Bumbaco. I'm an oncology dietitian, and I am presenting the last video, unfortunately, for the year 2022. And what I've been doing all year long, once a month, is presenting to you a celebration for a food holiday. And why not end the year out in a fantastic way? So little did I know until I did my homework for this project, but December 1st of 2022 is National Eat a Red Apple Day. Who knew, right? What a great holiday. And what a great opportunity to invite some cancer protective nutrition to your overall diet. So if you haven't had the opportunity up until this point, every month for the year 2022, I presented a food holiday video, and you could find all of that information, the recipes, as well as the video, right on Judy Nicholson Kidney Cancer Foundation's website, as well as the YouTube channel. All of those recordings are on there and free for you to access. So please check them out, because I think I had a lot of fun, but shared a lot of great content along the way. So back to our apples. National Eat Your Red Apple Day, December 1st. How appropriate I'm wearing red to celebrate, right? So apples, we associate with good health. And I have a lot to share about why that is. But where did that expression, eating an apple a day and keeping the doctor away, come from? Is there any truth to that expression? I did some more homework on that one. And it originated in Wales in 1866. And the expression went like this: eat an apple before bed to keep the doctor from earning his bread. So the thought is that regularly consuming apples will keep you healthy and keep you well and keep those doctors away. Well, is there any validity to that statement and to that expression? It turns out maybe. So I also looked at the research, and there was a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association back in 2015. And they looked at people who were regularly eating apples, and they compared them to people who were regularly not enjoying the deliciousness that is the apple. And what they did find is that those who were eating apples more often, they were less likely to take prescription medications. Who knew? So they didn't find any other association or connection with health and doctor's visits, but they were less likely to take prescription medications. Now, here's the thing. As an oncology dietitian, I would vote that apples, as well as many other plant-based choices, especially in the fruit and vegetable family, I would vote that they belong in a cancer protective diet, because they have a hefty package of nutrients that are cancer protective. And apples are no exception. So apples, and I have a few varieties here, apples have a good amount of fiber. Guess where we find that fiber? On the outside, also on the inside, but the majority of the fiber is on that peel. So if we can maintain that peel as much as possible when we're using it, whether we're eating these as is, perfect snack on the go, or if we're cooking with them, if we can keep that peel on, we're going to get more fiber. Chances are we're also going to get more nutrients out of these apples when we keep the peel on. So apples have a good amount of vitamin C. And I always talk about vitamin C. We know vitamin C is a potent antioxidant. So antioxidants help repair the damaged cells that are in our body that could otherwise transform into cancer cells. And vitamin C is the most powerful antioxidant we could possibly eat. Did you know that? So no other antioxidants stand up to vitamin C. It's number one. It's the most potent. Now also, what we find in apples are some other compounds. So I mentioned fiber, I mentioned vitamin C. There's also a little bit of potassium, who knew, inside these apples. But there's some precious compounds that are unique to plant foods. So they're called phytochemicals, and I talk about them all the time as well. Phytochemicals literally translate to plant chemicals, and they're unique to plant foods, and they are what probably give us some disease protection, including diseases like cancer. So, what is inside apples that are these phytochemicals, these special compounds? One of them is quercetin. Have you heard of quercetin? These are tongue twisters, usually, all these phytochemicals, because chemicals sound like they would be a bad thing, but not in the case of our whole plant foods. So quercetin has potent anti-inflammatory properties, so they help to keep inflammation at bay. Quercetin is a high amount in our apples, and all varieties of apples as well. We also find in our apples, we find compounds called terpenes. So terpenes are really special. Terpenes help to slow cancer cell growth. Really important, right? To regularly be enjoying apples. And I'm going to show you just one way out of so many to enjoy apples today. But these terpenes seem to be really special compounds as well. The last one I want to point out is it's a group of phytochemicals called catechins. And maybe you've heard of catechins. They are really high in green tea, but our apples also have some catechins. And they also act like an antioxidant. So if you're looking to kind of fight cancer from all different angles, these compounds allow us to do that. They're anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. They support our immune function. They slow cancer cell growth. I mean, what more could we ask for? And it's all contained in one single package like an apple. Now, apples, they come in a lot of different shapes, sizes, varieties, and flavors, right? You find green apples, you find yellow apples. There's red apples. And on December 1st, we're celebrating red apples. But I vote any apple will do. If you happen to like green apples, like Granny Smith, go for it. I would love for you to enjoy a Granny Smith apple on December 1st. Now, worldwide, there's a lot of different varieties of apples that are produced and harvested. Over 7,500 different varieties of apples. Did you know that? Here in the United States, we harvest about 2,500 different varieties of apples, and every single state in the country produces apples. So chances are you can find some. And maybe you can find some locally, even in the winter months, if there's some winter markets that you have access to. Most of our apples are harvested from August through November. So even in November, you can stockpile your apples because these will keep fresh, especially in the fridge. So if you get them fresh and you keep them on the counter, they're going to ripen pretty quickly, but they will last 6 times longer in the fridge. Now, if you notice they start to wilt, don't toss them yet, because they're great for freezing and then also using to cook. So you can easily make your own homemade applesauce or your own homemade apple butter, and you're going to make a better for you version because it's a fresh apple, and you're going to incorporate your own spices and your own ingredients in the amounts that are appropriate for you. Now for today, I want to show you one of my favorite ways of having apples. I mean, I just love them. But I have different varieties here. So I have, I have to look at my list. I have an envy apple, I have a pink lady apple, and then I also have Kuro apples, really sweet and delicious, and a Lady Alice. I was lucky enough to get that. So I thought that would sound dainty, and maybe she originally came from Wales, I'm not sure. But she's gonna help me keep my doctors away. So in our apples, what I wanna show you is a great treat for the holiday season. And it's warm and it's delicious, but it's also nutritious. So one of my favorite things to do with an apple in the cooler months is to slice it in half, core it, stuff it, and then bake it. And you have this warm, delicious treat that would be a great substitute for desserts that are typically high in sugars and added sugars and added fats. So we're going to upgrade our dessert with something like this recipe. So what I would like to do is I just like to take my apple, and these are washed well. I scrub them really well with a scrub brush, and I just slice them right in half. Carefully, with a nice sharp knife. And then maybe you have an apple core at home. I have this ice cream scoop. It works just as well. If you have a spoon, you could use that also. That would work just fine with this. And I'm just coring out the middle, and you can create as deep a pocket that you want, because we're going to add some goodness to this. We're going to add some more flavor. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to do both of them. Why not? And then, first of all, we have our oven preheating. So I have it at 375. And we're going to pop these in that oven once they're ready to go. And I'm going to show you the final product as well. Okay, so in our baking pan, we're going to put our apples. And you can make as many of these as you want. They're great for entertaining. They're great for waking up to, making for breakfast in the morning, because they're really going to fill the house with this delicious smell, especially with what we stuff inside the apples. So I have a mix here in my bowl, and what I like to add is a little bit of sweetness. But guess where I get that sweet? Naturally, from our date. So I pitted and chopped a couple of dates. Then I added to that some old-fashioned rolled oats. Then I added some chopped pecans, because that just works so well with this recipe. You could add walnuts, you could add almonds, whatever you prefer. Then I also added some flaxseed, some ground flaxseed, and I have a little obsession at the moment with unsweetened coconut. So I added some shredded coconut to that, and then my spices. So I added some cinnamon as well as some allspice. You could add different combinations. If you had hemp seeds or chia seeds, you could also add that into your mix. And we're going to stuff our apples with this little mix here. And don't be shy. Don't be afraid if it overflows, because the bottom will catch all of that goodness. Sometimes I also like to add a little drizzle of honey or maple syrup if I'm really in the mood for that. Or I can drizzle some natural nut butter, like some almond butter, right on top. And then I'm going to put this in the oven. We don't even need to cover it. And we're going to put it in the oven for about 20 minutes to do its work. And it's magic. And now I want to show you the final product. And I like to just serve it in a bowl. And one of my favorite ways to top this deliciousness, this goodness and deliciousness in a bowl, is with some Greek yogurt. You know, I always talk about Greek yogurt, great for the gut health, right? To add some probiotics back into our body, great for our immune function as well. I usually have a big old tub of plain Greek yogurt or Icelandic yogurt. And you could mix in some honey or some maple syrup or your spices into the yogurt. And now you've made a little sweet version, a little sweet topping for this. That's going to also add some protein. And so that's why this, to start your day, or to have as a snack, or to have as a dessert, I mean, we're talking a serious nutrition upgrade. And I'm going to enjoy that just like this, right on top. So pretty. So I hope you enjoyed that little recipe demo. I hope that you enjoy apples as much as I do and have the opportunity to eat a red apple, or any apple for that matter, especially on December 1st, a food holiday that celebrates an opportunity to invite more nutrition into your cancer protective diet. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best and for a healthy holiday season.